In this episode of Macbeth Madness, Blood, Banter, and Exam Tips, Lily and I are diving deep into the key scenes of Shakespeare's Macbeth that are absolute must-knows for any GCSE student. We'll break down their meanings, explore their importance, and give you some killer exam tips along the way. Get ready to unlock the secrets of this iconic play.
Totally. And let's be honest, who doesn't love a good Shakespeare deep dive? Especially when it comes with handy exam hacks, right? We'll be dissecting some seriously pivotal moments, analyzing character motivations, and exploring the themes that make Macbeth such a timeless masterpiece. So buckle up, Shakespeare scholars.
Let's start with Act 1, Scene 3, The Witch's Prophecy. This scene is where it all begins, the fateful meeting of Macbeth and Banquo with the three witches. Remember that iconic line, "All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Glamis, hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor, hail to thee that shalt be king hereafter." This isn't just some random encounter, it's the catalyst for Macbeth's downfall.
Absolutely. The witch's prophecy plants the seed of ambition in Macbeth's mind. Before this encounter, he's a loyal soldier. Afterwards, his thoughts are consumed by the tantalizing possibility of power. The witches are clever, though. They don't tell him to do anything. They simply predict. This is crucial for analyzing the themes of fate versus free will in the play. It's a brilliant way Shakespeare sets the stage for the rest of the tragedy.
Exactly. For exam purposes, this scene is perfect for discussing the supernatural's influence on human behavior. It's a classic example of how external forces can impact internal choices. Remember to analyze the language and imagery used by Shakespeare to create this atmosphere of mystery and foreboding.
Moving on to Act 2, Scene 1, the dagger soliloquy. This is where things get really interesting. We see Macbeth wrestling with his conscience, confronted with the internal conflict that is tearing him apart. Remember the famous line, "Is this a dagger which I see before me, the handle toward my hand?" This soliloquy is pure gold for exam purposes.
8. It's a masterclass in dramatic irony and psychological turmoil. He's about to commit regicide, but his mind is already crumbling. Shakespeare uses hallucinations and dark imagery to showcase Macbeth's fractured state of mind, highlighting his guilt and internal struggle.
And if the exam question asks about Macbeth's psychology, ambition, or guilt, bam! This scene is your go-to. You can analyze his mental state, the use of imagery, and the foreshadowing to demonstrate a strong understanding of the play.
Let's jump to Act 3, Scene 4, Banquo's Ghost at the Banquet. By this point, Macbeth has become king, but paranoia is eating him alive. His guilt manifests in the form of Banquo's ghost appearing at a banquet, creating a truly dramatic scene.
Totally. The dramatic irony here is fantastic. Lady Macbeth tries to cover for him, but it's obvious that he's losing control. This is a perfect scene to analyze power, paranoia, and the consequences of unchecked ambition. The visual of a king seeing a ghost speaks volumes. And let's not forget the impact on the guests. The atmosphere of horror and unease is palpable.
And speaking of palpable, let's take a moment to imagine what it would be like to be one of the guests at that banquet. Shudders. Okay, enough with the spooky imagery. Let's move on to Act 5, Scene 1, Lady Macbeth's sleepwalking scene. This is where we see Lady Macbeth's downfall. Remember those haunting lines? "Out, damned spot! Out, I say!"
Oh my goodness, that scene is chilling. In the beginning, she was the mastermind pushing Macbeth toward his ambition. But now, she is completely undone by guilt. The sleepwalking scene powerfully depicts the devastating consequences of her actions.
This scene is crucial for discussing guilt, madness, and importantly, the role of gender in the play. It shows how even the most powerful woman is ultimately vulnerable to the devastating effects of her own actions and conscience.
This is a great opportunity to discuss how Shakespeare presents female characters. It's fascinating to see the shift from Lady Macbeth's initial strength to her ultimate disintegration. It's important to note that this was a time of strong patriarchal power.
And finally, let's talk about Act 5, Scene 5, Macbeth's tomorrow speech. By this point, Macbeth has lost everything: his wife, his kingdom, his sense of self. His iconic speech, "Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow," encapsulates the tragedy of his journey.
It really does. This is one of the most famous monologues in all of Shakespeare. It's utterly heartbreaking and completely devastating. This is where you analyze the theme of fate and of Macbeth's fate as a tragic hero. This is your chance to showcase your understanding of the character arc. His journey from ambition to despair is a powerful testament to the consequences of unchecked desires.
This speech is pure gold if the exam question focuses on Macbeth's tragic downfall. The words just resonate with such powerful despair. Did you ever think that Macbeth would end up this depressed?
Nope, never. The contrast between his initial ambition and his final state of profound disillusionment is what makes his story so compelling and relevant, even today. He really went from zero to hero to, well, you know.
Speaking of compelling, let's recap these key scenes. We have the witch's prophecy, which introduces the theme of fate versus free will. Then there's the dagger soliloquy, exploring Macbeth's internal conflict and guilt. Banquo's ghost highlights paranoia and the consequences of ambition. Lady Macbeth's sleepwalking scene shows the devastating effects of guilt and madness. And finally, Macbeth's tomorrow speech captures the tragedy of his downfall. Remember, in your exam, don't just summarize, analyze. Look at the language, themes, and character development to really demonstrate your understanding.
Exactly. And remember to analyze. Don't just summarize. Think about the language, the themes, the character development. It's all crucial for a strong essay. Also, remember to connect those key scenes to the broader themes of the play. Power, ambition, guilt, fate versus free will. It's all interwoven throughout.
So there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into Macbeth's key scenes. We hope this helped you prepare for your GCSE exams. Remember to share this podcast with your classmates. The more the merrier.
And if you don't ace your exams after listening to this, well, we can't be held responsible for that. Just kidding. But seriously, we hope this was helpful, and we'll see you all in the next episode of Macbeth Madness. We'll be diving into the themes of power and corruption next time.
Until then, happy studying, everyone, and may the force, or rather Shakespeare's genius, be with you.